Hello. The cloud computing service we are going to see today. In this cloud computing service, basically what happened, client with browser, mobile app, or some client terminal emulator, it start using what software as a service, which is working over platform as a service, and which is platform as a service further working over infrastructure as a service. So this is the stack, and you can use as a client. If you are a client of cloud, then you can use the cloud service. So what are SaaS, software as a service, like CRM technologies, email that you use, virtual desktop communication, games? What are platform as a service? Database or web server deployment tools are there. And what are infrastructure as a service? It's virtual machines, servers, load, and various load balancer network systems are there. Then cloud services means on demand services available to users via network from vendor servers. What are cloud services? So cloud services are basically demanded by cloud client or cloud user. How they can use? They can use over network, internet, and who provides these service? Vendors. These are cloud vendors, and these services are being deployed at the servers of vendor. Then cloud services are basically easier to use, scalable they are, and they are fully managed by service provider. What is example of cloud service that you use? It is one of the cloud services like Facebook or Twitter. So you install an app and you start using all the features of that cloud service, and that app is been communicating with the Facebook services. Like you add some friend, you message some friend. So all these are various operations of cloud service. Then services are dynamically scalable. How? So they have a large setup of servers in backend, and they meet out all the demand with the help of giant hardware and software. So what are giant hardware? So they have large servers and they have high computational servers, like they have 64 GB RAM of single server, and they have 1 terabyte or 10 terabyte of hard disk in a single node of a server. And similarly, there are thousands of nodes are working together in a cluster, and there are thousands of clusters together working as a single entity at Hyderabad or at Bangalore or at San Francisco. So you can assume single node is of 64 GB RAM, 10 terabyte of hard disk, and there are huge processor working with that, and you have thousands of such nodes working in a single cluster, and there could be multiple cluster as well in the same data center. So that is what it means by giant hardware, and there are software that can manage with all these things. Like the example is Hadoop. Hadoop can work with multiple nodes. Then user does not require to provision or deploy resources or allocate IT staff. So what happens with these things? Facebook, Google, Twitter, they manages their backend by doing provisioning and deprovisioning, means adding more resources or deleting more resources or deploying some resource softwares or allocate some IT staff for management. Then what are the examples? Examples are like data storage, backup solutions are there. There are web-based emails, then document collaborations could be done, database processing could be done, and many more type of things could be done with these cloud services. Thereafter, classification and vendors. So infrastructure as a service are basically offered by the hardware environment. So infrastructure as a service, what it is a storage or hardware, hard drive, or some or like that. Then you have, like example is Amazon EC2, Amazon S3, Rackspace cloud servers are there, flexi scale are there. So there are various virtual servers are there, databases are there, disk storage are there. So these are basically in management of infrastructure as a service. So RAM are there, processors are working together, and the hardware part, how these hardware part are being managed by a software, is actually infrastructure as a service of a cloud vendor. Then platform as a service is deployment and development environment. You are using Eclipse, NetBeans. These are for the local laptop and machines. What if you have some development environment at large scale? Means you can deploy your application with multiple processors working together. For example, in Hadoop, you can develop a code which could be deployed at multiple servers and which can process data stored at multiple servers. So that is a kind of platform as a service, and you can develop and deploy and have testing environment as well. So basically, PaaS, platform as a service provider, offers some offered by different vendor, and generally they are not compatible sometimes. So you develop very prudently. You think first you whether you want to go with Google App Engine or Salesforce or Microsoft Azure, or you want to go with Ruby on Rails like platform as a service. So once you start your development with a company, you are locked with that company. So that is platform, because you accepted one platform and you have developed started developing application on that platform, and then it will be almost fixed. Thereafter, software as a service. Software as a service are offering of some software. These are applications that pay as you go model basis. So these are like customer relationship management. What it does like you have uh, you have a company, like you are running a hospital. So there is some hospital relationship management system where the patients would come, they will register themselves, they will book, they will pay some fee, they'll book a room for treatment, and this is how it works. So this is one example. Then Gmail service that you use daily, Google Docs you use frequently. So there are various business productivity online standard suits and MS Office online. So these are various software as a service. Then next, there could be various different X as a service. What are these X as a service? Like application as a service, platform as a service, integration as a service. We had already discussed about application as a service. So application is basically you are using Google Docs, it is a kind of application, and that is application as a service. Platform as a service, we discussed deploy, you actually start developing code on that and you deploy that code on large platform of a cloud. Then integration as a service, you can integrate your software with another software, and how it could be integrated with some service. Then storage as a service, you can store, you can have a Google hard drive, you purchase it some amount of some GB, 10 GB, 20 GB. So they have a pricing. Similarly, Amazon also sells some storage as a service. You can store, always store. Database as a service means you have a relational table or some graph related, graph oriented, no SQL or SQL based database. What it does, it has systematic way of storing some tuples. So that is database as a service. Then information as a service, you basically access some information out of a cloud vendor. For example, you access news. The news would keep on coming to your app. That is inform news as a service. So information as a service. Then you can also ask for some new products which are coming, and you can purchase with them with offers. So that is information as a service. Then process as a service. There are various processes in every organization. So you can have a flow of that process, that sequence of the steps. So that is process as a service. Then you can have security as a service. So you can store some application over somewhere, and that is secured. That is providing your data with security. So that is security as a service. Then testing as a service. You had developed a model, you have developed a code at platform as a service. Now what you want to do, you want to do load testing. That how much load testing, like you have heard about Ookla for testing the network. So that is, it is basically test the speed of a network. So that is testing as a service. Then infrastructure as a service. So you have, as we discussed, if some company decide that they will manage large hardwares working behind, and they combine those hardware together to provide it to the user, that is infrastructure as a service. Then a user can use those hardware integrated together and have a large resources with that organization. So that is infrastructure as a service. Then management or governance as a service. Suppose a company decided to have a service for a particular operation in that organization or company. So they develop some service for that. Then government decided that they need a library. Overall, India should have a single library network, or like NPTEL. So NPTEL has been developed. NPTEL can release videos, and other students or other uh, audience can subscribe to that NPTEL. Whenever new video come in a particular domain, they can get a feed of that. So that is governance as a service, means teaching as a service. MHRD government had decided to have uh, videos of lecture series. So that is governance, a type of governance. Or if you, or a state government or a central government has a department. That department need to have a communication email system or chatting system. So they organize that simple emailing system. So that is, and they could have a workflow that payments could be done in that way, tenders could be done. So that is governance as a service. Tendering type of things could be done. Then applications, specifically applications deals with software as a service. Platform deals with platform as a service. Infrastructure deals with infrastructure as a service. So these are basically cloud stack, infrastructure, platform, application. So we'll discuss about cloud application. So it is also known as software as a service. Then you, because you always install Facebook as an application in the Android, but it is actually some kind of software as a service. Then you have software installed on your computer or at your Android mobile or at iOS mobile. Then additionally, they can have online or with or without credential, means you need to store a username and password to access that service. If it is open and openly available as a website, you can access that website without credentials. Then what are the benefits of such cloud application? It is globally accessible. You can collaborate and work with multiple users. You can make a multiple friends at the Facebook. So that is, you can just chat with your friends. Similarly, you can have a software development, and you can collaborate with various software developers and collaborate with them in the single project. Thereafter, you have a document shared between the multiple users. You can collaborate and develop and write over the single document shared with multiple users. Then automatically upgradation. So what it does all users have the same version, and you can how suppose a game is being upgraded. For example, FIFA 21 is upgraded to FIFA 22. So what it does, it has been upgraded to all its users, means whoever plays that FIFA 21, and that automatically updation would happen. Otherwise, that FIFA 21 and FIFA 22 does cannot work together, because two gamer have to be in the same platform. That's why they have put a restriction in the just in 18th of January they had launched FIFA 22. So they had upgraded that app for everyone in the world, and this is a limitation and restriction. So if somebody would think that they want to stay in FIFA 21, it's not possible, because FIFA 22 player can't play with FIFA 21. So it is automatic upgradation for all user on same version. Equal benefit to all. What is equal benefit? It is kind of new development to every user at the same time. Whatever FIFA 21 had developed, it has upgraded to FIFA 22. And this FIFA 22 is been accessible with every user at the same time. At 18th of January 2022, it has been released, and it's called as new season of FIFA. It is an official product of FIFA developed by EA Sports. Then it has all new development for every user of that. What is safety? Safety is basically some wallets like Google Pay, Phone Pay, so Paytm. So they have various kinds of money-based wallet, and you can shift your funds from bank to directly to the shopkeeper. And similarly, you have data and cloud application. So you keep data over your uh, server. In some server, you have some application, you access that data with that application. For example, you uploaded some images on Facebook, and un, uh, unwillingly your images were deleted from your own laptop or something. Then you can always access that images from Facebook. Here's the reference of the wallet in the context of better arrangement and bank for security. So this wallet would be better arrangement and working better for the security. Then some applications are like Twitter, basically have tweets, some important applications you have heard about. Facebook, charter.com, then google.com. There are various spreadsheets, Google Docs are there, slide sharings are there, then Skype.com. These are various applications. There are many other applications. You can refer to many Wikipedia pages, and you already know. Then regulatory issues and limitations with all these cloud computing things. What are the regulatory issues? And so the regulatory issues are like there are various computer science fields that are being influenced by cloud computing. So you will see this computer science and cloud computing everywhere in the world. Now the concerns related to infrastructure, whether it is better or poor or something like that. So you have to manage with peer with that infrastructure. Then access control, there could be some restriction for some kind of users. You always have identity management. There are some integrities issue or integrity control you need to manage as a cloud engineer. Identity means username, password, you have proper. Integrity means only you can access the data of yours. And if you restrict someone, you restrict some images should be not seen to some other person, then it is access control. Then risk management is basically some risk is involved with some business. So this is risk management. Legislative compliance and jurisdiction. The various legislation rules and regulations are there. Various companies are there where there are limitations. There are various states have different policy. Various government has different policies. So these are jurisdictions which are kept with boundaries. Then auditing and logging. So you keep on checking whether that company is working fine for you or not. You check whether the documents are being met out properly or not. Then loss of control over the data. What are the loss that happens to your data? Data protection you have to maintain. Then international data transfer, because some data are sensitive, whether that could be transferable to other country or not. So that data protection and data control rights apply sometimes. Then dependency of cloud computing with some provider and vendor dependent risk are there. So these are the dependencies of cloud computing. Then fair information practice are there, whether that information sharing is fair or not. So we'll just see the name of 10 obstacle. In the next class, we'll discuss these 10 obstacle and opportunity in detail. So availability of service. What is availability of service? Means whether that service is available or not at properly time whenever you want it to be used. Data lock-ins are there, means you uploaded data in some application somewhere in Facebook. Now you have to download it one by one, and then you have to upload on Twitter or on Instagram. So that is data lock-in. Then data confidentiality means some data is really confidential and there's proper auditing required for that data. And data transfer bottlenecks are there, means it is hard to transfer data because the data is of large size, thousands of terabyte data. So network is a bottleneck in that case. Performance and predictability means whether your cloud vendor would be able to perform properly or not. Scalable storage are there, means it is highly scalable or not. Then uh, how much data could be stored. The bugs are there in the large scale distributed system, so it is harder to debug such large scale distributed system. Then scaling quickly is required, means whether your cloud vendor is able to scale quickly or not. Reputation fate sharing means there are some companies which does not uh, believe in their reputation. They keep on mailing and keep on advertising. So these advertisements are very uh, affecting for the reputation of such company. Then software licensing are there. Various cloud services have different kind of licensing and their protocol. So we'll discuss about all these 10 things in the next class. So for today, it's all from my side. Thanks, all of you. We'll discuss about the project just now. Thanks.